Hello everyone, this is SanadSK, and today we are going to be discussing Bloodborne 2. Now there has been a lot of rumors regarding Bloodborne 2 in the last month, and some of them were fake and some of them can be considered real, but there isn't any real trusted source behind it. So I was just sitting and thinking, what would we like to see from the next Bloodborne game if it even existed? What did Bloodborne do right? What did it do wrong? These are the things that need to be taken into consideration when thinking of what needs to be done in a sequel. So I'm going to be just talking about what I would love to see in the upcoming sequel. Now, Bloodborne was a very different take on the Souls formula. The setting, characters, story, and mechanics were different than what we had in Dark Souls games. People thought that this isn't a good thing and that they will ruin the Souls franchise with Bloodborne, but it actually turned out to be one of the best games ever, and it got many awards and good feedback and rating from all of the players, whether they were Souls fans or not. So the first thing I want to discuss is the lore. Now, the lore of Bloodborne is very deep and convoluted, and in my opinion it was more well written than Dark Souls lore. Now, Dark Souls lore is amazing and I definitely love it, but the different take they went in with Bloodborne really appealed to me more than Dark Souls. Now, I am a big fan of hidden things and objects and dialogue that makes you understand the story more, and I think the two best developers that do this are From Software and Treyarch with their Zombies storyline. Now, if any of you are Zombies players, you will know that the story of Black Ops 3 was very, bad at the beginning. Nobody understood anything that what happened, and then they released this freaking huge timeline that has everything that has happened in the storyline, including the multiverses and everything. So just imagine if they released a similar thing for Dark Souls, like if From Software did something like that, it would be a huge thing and addition to the lore of the game. But returning to Bloodborne, the Cthulhu setting with the Great Ones and Yharnam, all of that really made me, you can say, feel more alive and real in Bloodborne's world. I don't know if that makes any sense with all the alien shit and stuff, but because it was a new game, it allowed them to create the base of the story from scratch as they wanted. And this is one of the things that is the reason that Dark Souls kind of messed up in. Is that they set the base of the story in Dark Souls 1, then they started adding lore in Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, but most of the time forgetting the main base of the story, and sometimes making some contradictions and retcons that don't make sense, as if they forgot some of the things they did, so they decided to write new things while forgetting the original things. Bloodborne's lore was different because they created this new world from scratch, and the story of this new world was done in a very unique way that retained the original Souls formula in terms of how it delivered the lore to the player. And in my opinion, they succeeded more in that. But there are still some mysterious stuff in Bloodborne that I hope they can shed some light on in the sequel, such as the time when all of the Finishing Hamlet and Gehrman stuff happened, which we got some idea about in the Old Hunters DLC, and I would really love for them to expand even further upon them and about the past of Yharnam in general. So enough talk about the lore and the story, let us talk about the weapons and equipment. So Bloodborne introduced something new, which was trick weapons, which are weapons that transform. So for example, we have Ludwig's Holy Blade, which is a small straight sword that transforms into a big greatsword. This concept allowed them to expand upon the weaponry of the game in terms of power and in terms of coolness, let's say, as you aren't just playing with the normal sword or greatsword or other medieval weapons. You are playing with a unique weapon that is two weapons in one. And that is also a double-edged sword, as the idea of trick weapons is super unique and awesome, but the arsenal of weapons wasn't really much when the game was released, but they added a lot more with the DLC, so it's all good right now. As for equipment, I want to talk about both armor sets and the usable items. Now, the armor sets, I really like two things that I want in armor sets, either a full cloth cool looking armor or a super duper amazing metallic armor that looks weird, I don't know. Now, Bloodborne delivered the first one, which I really like, the Fashion Souls, or the Fashionborn in Bloodborne's case, as the engine also helped greatly with all of the cloth and hair physics, which made it 10 times cooler. As for the equipment, they returned to how Demon Souls worked, which is by using blood vials to heal, and I kind of like and dislike this as it makes the game easier sometimes, but it is a welcome addition if they want to repeat it in the sequels. And there are also the arcane items, which is a very cool concept, and I would love for there to be more epic looking arsenal, like using an item that launches a giant monster or something, I don't know. Also, we can't forget about the runes, like the one that turns you into a beast or a great one, which were added in the DLC and were basically what everyone wanted since the release of the game, which is super awesome. The next thing I want to talk about is gameplay. Now, Bloodborne changed the way that gameplay works, as the gameplay got much faster than Souls, which made it more action-packed. And while some people actually dislike the game because of it, I believe this was one of the main things that made Bloodborne amazing and different than games, let's say, The Witcher. I also played Nioh and beat it like 1,000 times, and it made me appreciate the way that Bloodborne was made. Even though Nioh is a fast-paced game like Bloodborne, but Bloodborne was made in a sense that even if you are a veteran Souls player, you would still feel the amazingness and hardship that comes with the game. And even in terms of the story and characters and weapons and everything, Bloodborne is more memorable in that aspect. As Nioh, I think the story and weapons aspect is very messed up, like really, like you have 15 or 20 copies of the same weapon and armor, and I don't know, I just didn't like the inventory system in Nioh. It really made the game more messed up, and the story, like, I know it's based on real life story, but I don't know, like the characters aren't very memorable in my opinion, and the story itself is kind of messed up, I don't know. And finally, I want to talk about the enemy and level design. So, without even a single doubt, the enemy and boss designs in Bloodborne are super well done. And I have played a shit ton of games and I still can't find something with the amazingness of Bloodborne, whether it was a small enemy that barely does damage to you, to a gigantic boss that wants to eat your brains out. With the hair and fur physics, the fight isn't just enjoyable but is also appealing to the eye in terms of both graphics and gameplay, and also with the added artistic design of that. We also can't forget the amazing way they introduced the Moonlight Greatsword in the super epic Ludwig cutscene.
You were at my side all along. My true mentor, my guiding moonlight.
And while we are talking about artistic design, we can't forget the level design of Bloodborne. The gothic-based design of the cities and forests, and every little detail that is put into the game has meaning and done in a very artistic way that makes you really want to explore more into the game. And I can see also this being implemented in the sequel, and I really want to see what they can surprise us with in this sequel, whether it was different locations, different enemies and different characters, so I'm really hoping that they really put more depth into that in the sequel. Also, I have to mention the music and soundtrack of the game, whether it was the ambient sounds or the music soundtrack specifically, and I have to mention Gehrman, Ludwig and Maria's boss fight music. They are the best music pieces I have ever heard until now, and I think they are the best music fights in gaming in general. I think Dark Souls 3, maybe Gale's boss fight music was also on the same level, and I think it was the same composer, but this is the thing that has also made Bloodborne much more different than the other games, that all of the music is just, you can feel that they put the feeling of the boss inside of the music. So when you hear the music, you just remember the boss fight, you remember the memories of you dying on that boss fight, and remember just how amazing this boss fight was, which is just an amazing thing. And it's a really cool thing that how just music of the game can make you feel nostalgia and feel everything that you felt during the boss fight. It just retains all of the hype you were fighting the boss in just when you hear that music track. So yeah, in general, Bloodborne is one of my all-time favorite games of all time, and even though it has some flaws, it is still one of the best RPGs of this generation. And I'm sure if From Software releases a sequel, it will be much better and improved than the original Bloodborne. I just hope that they do Bloodborne 2. I would literally jump out of my chair and just scream out loud, Bloodborne is here, boys. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm going to be uploading a video very soon just talking about the general things about the channel, because a lot of things happened this past month, and as my viewers and subscribers, I want you to be in the light of what is happening. So thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe for my channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.